Welcome to the Spool podcast. Unwind with Dr. Nils Roemer, Dean of the Bass School at UT Dallas.
We're today here in a very exciting environment. We are in the kitchen of Break Bread, Break Borders, one of these incredible new ventures that was set up by Jin-Ya, who's today with us, an alum from UT Dallas, studied art, big advocate for social justice, who has really created a very unique program, which is all about food and is all about telling stories and connecting communities in all possible ways.
Thank you, Dean Roemer. It's an honor to be here. So we're a culinary company that actually caters food, and we work with refugee women from all around the world, from war-torn countries. And it's a workforce development training program, and it is solely to help them get the skill sets and the tools, enough to go find big jobs and opportunities in the food service industry. So,
well, they seem to have tools. If you just look at this here. So tell me something about the uniqueness of this food, right? When we're looking at it, I had some notes. It's like the borscht, it's the pierogies, it's the samosas. It's like from all over the world, right?
It is. We've worked with women from Syria, from Iraq, from Afghanistan, from Myanmar, from the Congo, from you name it, and it's amazing when they cook together. Today we have this special cooking from Hulu Claudia Betroy, and this is actually her beautiful mix from Syria.
Come to us.
The whole point.
No.
Yes.
So
yes, you did this. This is your
fattoush.
special. Yes.
So
it's the unhealthy.
The unhealthy fattoush.
No, it's the tasty version. We'll call it the tasty version.
It's tasty.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can.
The rewarding version. So is this sounds really delicious, and I'm sure it is, because as you remember, I had the fortune of eating a couple of times your wonderful food. Is this a specific, it's a little bit adjusted to Texas, I guess, but otherwise, is this a special recipe that you brought with you?
Yes, this is the recipe that I brought with me.
Mm-hmm.
My mom never made the fattoush this way.
Mm-hmm.
I tried it once, and my kids love it, and I love it more.
So they are the ones who test everything first?
Yes.
Yeah, good job,
Yes.
It's not bad to be the
We
tester.
love to be your guinea pig.
Okay.
Yeah, they are very picky. So if they say it's good, then
Then it's
the
good.
rest of the world will like it.
So let's stay with this for a moment. So this is a recipe, a very specific one that you brought. What does it mean for you still to cook that very dish?
it feels like home.
So tell us something about you.
I was born and raised in Syria, but I'm from Chechnya, so I'm a mix from both. And I came here as a refugee, and my grandfather was a refugee too. So it's like runs in the family. I hope it's our last destination.
Right. But big part of what you've been able to do here with Ginger is really to bring those very recipes back to life, and thereby, one, have a wonderful career, two, prepare delicious food, but then also tell people about yourself, right?
Yeah.
And that is, I think, at the center of what you've been trying to accomplish beyond this one fattoush in front of us, right?
Yes.
Could you tell us a little bit more about Breaking Bread?
Yeah, so Break Bread, Break Borders, the initial concept is for women from all around the world, refugees from all around the world, telling their stories and using their storytelling and sharing their food and culture and really connecting with the community and build bridges that way. It's a beautiful way to use, to really lean into not only the culinary arts, but also the art of practicing oral history and understanding really your past. You can really get control of your present and really and project your future. And so this future is, the picture of community and freedom for these women from all around the world that not only, when you think about someone who's homeless or unhoused, these are people who are now countryless.
So you just talked a little bit about the power of food as something that is
Absolutely.
empowering individuals like Claudia and others to have careers, but that's also something which is, this kind of very universal language of food, right?
Yes.
This is easy to communicate and easy also to connect with, right? Because
Yes.
the beauty of food is that we don't consume it usually by ourselves, but always in the company of others. So it's a perfect kind of tool of sorts to cross borders or to connect with others.
Yes.
But also to realize that these dishes in and of themselves, and I think fattoush is a perfect example. There's a little Texas in there, but there's a lot of Syria in there as well. But then there's probably in the dishes also something of your Czechnian heritage as well. So it's a perfect world of unique tastes and traditions as well as of commonality as well.
Absolutely, and that was something that my mother, Margaret Ming Huang, was such an amazing person. She was a chef, and she was also very much a community leader, and that's what she did. Is she always used food as communication, as a universal language, and build bridges that way with everyone.
Let's talk maybe about your mom, because I think she was the inspiration in many ways.
Absolutely.
Behind all of that.
Yes, yes. My mom did all this kind of culinary training. She would my aunt and uncle actually started a franchise of restaurants, and so we had all these places in the Southwest. And my mom in our kitchen here in Dallas actually would train other immigrants, refugees, and migrants, from all around the world, job skills, and she would send them on to bigger and better opportunities. And my ancestors were actually refugees who escaped from communism to take refuge in Taiwan. Right, and so my mom was so mindful about, giving other folks these kind of opportunities, this kind of economic inclusion, and also this empowerment to women and girls. And so when I lost her to cancer, to multiple myeloma, I wanted to be able to honor her legacy. And so that's how Break, Break, Break Borders was born.
But that also means wonderful, but it means you as a child literally already observed always the power of food.
Yes,
right?
but I didn't know what on earth I was learning. I just thought, oh no, I have to work in the restaurant
you
again.
Still the benefit of a very fine education at UT Dallas.
Yes,
This is
absolutely.
where it all came together.
That was how I learned
you
it.
You want to tell us what you studied?
Yes, arts and humanities. I majored in literary studies and minored in painting, and so I essentially do social practice art now, and that's how all this, the literary studies, led to the storytelling. And I was painting with a camera, and now I'm painting with food and community building. I really love doing these type of things, that's making lasting social impact with the community and with the community coming together. And so this art is, done with the people, by the people, for the people.
So it's all coming together. It's parts of your biography, your mom's legacy, you being as an artist, an advocate for women, and all of that resulting in this organization and in this food, right?
Yes, yes, and I'm grateful that, now that the business actually has been acquired by a local nonprofit, and as Claudia was sharing, who, not only serves refugees, immigrants, and migrants, but basically women and families who are coming out of domestic violence. And I, as a DV survivor as well, it really came full circle to be able to serve the communities more way than one.
So just so that everyone understands this is a catering service.
This is catering service. You can order this.
You can order, you can have it.
This is foodforgood.org.
This is actually something that's available, but also for families, right?
Absolutely.
Family gatherings.
We have catered birthday parties. We've catered bridal showers, weddings. The ladies love weddings. We cater for corporate events and conferences, and we've curated programs, curriculum from for schools, and it's not just in person. We've done online virtual training as well, and so have food will travel. Yes.
That was something somewhere I came across that you coined this term, rebellious hope.
Yeah, I don't know if I coined it exactly. I'm quoting some pretty awesome,
Tell us something
social
about
justice warriors.
Rebellious hope.
Yeah, so I actually have had the pleasure of being accepted to a lot of leadership programs, and one of the most amazing programs is called the Presidential Leadership Scholars Program. And so, I've studied with all these presidential foundations, from George H.W. Bush, George W. Bush, President Clinton, and also President LBJ's foundation. the most recently, I got to attend CGI, the Clinton Global Initiative up in New York, and President Clinton often talks about he's an eternal optimist.
Eternal optimist.
Yes, and how hope is in action. And, but I wanted to go beyond that, because a lot of this, you know, in the social justice warrior space, we really talk about, you know, what you have to do to keep what's working, but also keep going, and that hope is not quite enough, and how you add on to that is by having rebellious hope. And so the thing about that is, you know, if you think about it as, you know, a lot of people are very episodic about trauma and change, and but if you really think about progress and how to do collective impact, you have to stop thinking about puddle deep solidarity. You have to think about ocean deep solidarity, and what that means is, you do things. It's okay if you stick out a little bit, because that's what you stick with.
But sticking out is a good thing. But you know, here I think it's not just a question simply of optimism or hope, but it seems as if that hope is ultimately furnished by the past, right? The recipes and the traditions that are translated now here into an empowering catering service. So I think hope doesn't just come from nowhere in this case, but very clearly comes from a sense that it's the past that propels us forward.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think that's the thing. A lot of times, you know, when people are forced, you know, to migrate, that, you know, whether for whatever reasons, asylees and parolees, and for whatever, you know, violence that's happening around the world, they didn't have a choice, you know, and coming here, that there are so many choices, right? And so the sky's the limit when you're here in America, and those dreams don't just appear by themselves, you know, and when you realize how much you work, and you work hard, and, you know, and you put action to that hope, and really work towards that common good, that, you know, we can do this together, but we have to do it together. And this is, you know, this is not something that, you know, we do in silos. This is something that we have to talk about doing together. And food is such a great common universal language that brings us together to kind of start those conversations. And
so just give me a little sense, when it all happens here, how does this kitchen look like? How many cooks are simultaneously running
So
up
one of
and
my
down
favorite
here?
stories.
This is obviously here is where the magic happens, right?
It's a 6 stovetop, and, you know, and so what's interesting is, so one of our favorite events was actually for the Nasher, and Claudia will tell you that, you know, when Michael Rockowitz was here, he was the Nasher Artist of the Year, and he's this Iraqi Jewish American artist, and who wanted to actually not just do a typical gala, he wanted to do a international barbecue. And so we got hired for the event. It was over 500 people instead of,
You cooked for over 500
people here in here. And the Nashers, you know, had Wolfgang Puck, a restaurant.
Right, yes.
They were backing us, and they were helping. And so instead of, you know, tuxedos and gowns, people showed up in their cowboy and cowgirl boots.
And then with their knives ready to chop and to get going.
Yeah, and we actually served it on a farm that was, you know, all veterans run.
Oh, fantastic.
And so there were 6 to 8 cooks here all at once. And Michael came to help out too. He put on a cute little apron, which we can furnish you with one as well.
Yeah, now you're making me really interested in this.
And they had a blast cooking together. And that was the thing, you know, so many people didn't actually speak the same languages, but they were in here cooking together and just having fun. Yeah.
But also really understanding, because
Absolutely.
You know, instantaneously, you know, what is required again.
Yes.
Because the preparation for the food is everywhere the same.
Yes.
So this is like on the high end, cooking here for 500 people in this kitchen, and then stacking it all up.
Yes.
I mean, as you can all see, this is a working kitchen, so it's tidy. This is like really set up so that the work can happen here on any given day, and it's not like cluttered or anything. It doesn't look like home. It really is, you know, to make things happen.
You clean as you cook. Yes.
So now, right now, we had a fortune here. We're looking at a larger number of Syrian dishes, but on and off. I mean, in your kind of lineup is, like I said earlier, the
All around the world,
the borscht, and all of them. All the other friends are there as well. So who are your cooks right now?
So right now it is mostly the Syrian cooks, and there were a couple Afghan cooks, and you know, they've transitioned onto different opportunities. And so the Burmese cooks actually found jobs in restaurants, and the Afghan cooks are, you know, kind of working on their own, and some people have kind of done their own business, and you know, and since we got acquired by the nonprofit, it's actually being rebranded as Food for Good, and so the catering service is still going on, and they're currently actually training all the DV survivors from the shelters.
Wow.
And so there may be cooks from Colombia, there may be cooks from El Salvador.
So this is like expanding.
It's expanding.
Yes.
It's
Wow.
definitely scaling and expanding in the scope. Yeah, and I'm really grateful to be a part of something so big. Yeah.
No, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, it means also more food, right?
Yes.
More dishes.
More delicious food.
More delicious
yeah,
food for everyone.
absolutely.
Rebellious hope, one more time. So, you know, in other ways, I think we can think about it as, you know, often we think about our futures as being extensions of our past. But what you seem to be suggesting is that we have to interrupt actually that continuation of sorts to come to other futures. Is that another way of thinking about it?
I think so. I think, you know, when you really think about this, human-centered design is never linear. And, you know, and really as I came to, you know, build this space of like Asian American woman leadership, you know, in this sector, I think I really kind of zigzagged my way here. And I'm so grateful that I had all these people who really kind of, you know, helped me think about things in such a different perspective, if you will, and to hope and just not like, you know, not just hope, but rebelliously hope in the way that, you know, most people think that the women are just cooking here in the kitchen, but we're starting a revolution.
Right.
You know, you look at the women who have come through the program, they're empowered. The first time they get that paycheck, and the first time, you know, a little old lady that asks them, you know, for a recipe, and they're like, this is just my, you know, family recipe is nothing special, but it is something special. Because when you're forced to migrate around the world and you come to a place that, you know, many regimes will try to take away your you know, your home, your pride, but they try to take away your dignity, and they try to take away your freedom, but at the end of the day, they can never take away your recipes.
Your recipes, right?
That you can carry with you.
How about your own recipes then? You know, how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this, honestly, I wanted to do this before my mother even passed away, and so I've been really working on this concept for the past decade.
Okay.
And, you know, but everything coming into fruition was probably more so, like, I literally pitched this idea for 3 years as an artist, as an entrepreneur, as a social enterprise for 3 years, and no one wanted to listen. And, but we came to a clash in our society that we needed something positive, and this was super hopeful, you know, to get people to come together and do this together. And so, you know, so it was really beautiful to kind of see that, you know, to come to life, and now that people are investing in it in such different ways, you know, from all different perspectives. And I always talk about when I make art that as a social practice artist, that when my community asks me for fire, I don't bring them water. And so this is really a culmination of that. And so many of my other art projects, you know, from the wishing tree to my Asian sister, you know, like all these different projects are very much community built. And I love that, you know, my immigrant diaspora really came, you know, as a part of this, and my mother's legacy also became a part of this. And it's, you know, where the future brings, I don't know. And I'm really excited that, you know, it's coming, to life in this way.
And obviously you talked a great deal about doing this and how important it is for the women and how it empowers them. How about for you? Like, what has it done for you?
It's been so healing for me, Dean. It's so, I honestly actually didn't know what to do when I first lost my mother to cancer. And I really looked to different ways, you know, to find grief in that solace. And it was immediately I essentially went to like self-medicate with making art. And it's, I still remember the first time I met all these ladies at the International Rescue Committee. There were 18 women that showed up. When one guy showed up, he was like, I'm only here for my wife. She's the one who wants to cook. I don't know how to cook. And everybody spoke different languages from around the world, you know, and they were watching me click through my slideshow, and they had no idea what I was talking about. But the moment that I clicked to the photograph of my mother, everybody understood. And I think that was the thing. It's just been, I really, you know, went to the community to figure out what's the best way, you know, to honor her legacy, and the best way that I can still do this work with her, because I've been talking about how this is like writing a love letter to my mother and writing a love letter to my community. And these women have been so graceful, and I'm so grateful for everything that they have taught me. They didn't need to learn how to cook. They didn't really need to learn how to run a business or anything. If anything, they were the ones that taught me, you know, what it's like to have it's not just a company. It's really this beautiful culmination of sisterhood that we built together. And I grew up with 5 sisters, but those are the ones that you born with, right. You know. It's not that these are my chosen sisters, you know. And so it's been just incredibly healing to do this.
Taiwanese dishes in the lineup?
Not if I'm cooking, but yes, there definitely. I sure would love to bring some authentic Taiwanese dishes. Yeah, but you don't want me in the kitchen. I always joke with the ladies, I'm really good at taking out the trash, but that's about it.
So you just set up, you know, the
space.
Yeah,
they're the superstars. They're the magic. Absolutely.
Like
you don't want me in the kitchen. No. Seriously, Dean. Nils.
No.
Yeah. I am very just interested in social justice work, and I'm always making sure that I'm keeping my ear to the ground and responding to current events.
And they are constantly changing and you know, create an ever more challenging environment for us. Thank you so much. This has been a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much.
I'm a little, you know, have a harder time with my focus here today, looking constantly at the food. Thank you so much.
We don't want you hangry, so yeah. Thank you. This has been such a pleasure, and thank you, UTD, for this opportunity.